So, good afternoon, everyone, our esteemed panelists and distinguished audience. Thank you for joining us for today's important virtual session organized by Power to SME, focusing on decoding budget 2024 for MSMEs. So, we are here to discuss budget 2024, and now it can benefit MSMEs in India. And we are honored to have our esteemed panel of speakers with us. Leading this session today is Dr. Kumar. Uh, okay. Yeah, so we have with us Dr. Kumar sir, respected figure in the industry, and he's the former chairman cum managing director of the National Small Industry Corporation Limited, and currently serves as the director of external affairs at Power to SME. Joining him is Dr. L.K. Pandey, an elected CEC member of Indian Industry Association and MD, come CEO of Global Food and Agribusiness Advisory, New Delhi. We are also pleased to have Dr. and Engineer G.C. Tripathi, who hold a PhD in BTech, MBA in Finance, PG in Environment and Sustainable Development, and an MTP Germany in Project Management. So before I hand over the session to Dr. Kumar sir, I would like to provide a brief introduction of Power to SME. So, founded by Mr. R. Narayan and headquartered in Gurgaon, Power to SME is an embedded finance company dedicated to supporting SMEs. So, we provide financing of raw materials to SMEs and blue chip companies, and with multiple branches across the country, including Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Pune, and more. Power to SME has been operational since 2012. So our mission is empower SMEs to enable the India growth story. It reflects our commitment to enhancing the productivity and business value of small enterprises. Power to SME plays a crucial role in financing SMEs and sourcing raw material at economical prices in categories like chemical, yarn, ink, metal, polymer, and more, enabling SMEs to focus on their core business and encourage growth in revenue and development. For more information, you can visit our website, power2sme.com, or you can follow us on social media for the latest update. So now I would I'm pleased to hand over this session to Dr. Kumar. Sir, up to you. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
hope I am clear, audible, and visible,
Yes.
both.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Loud.
thank you. So, as mentioned by Priyanka, this is the special session that Power to SME is organizing for decoding the Union Budget 2024 for MSMEs. I think by now, since 3 days have passed, most of you would be aware as to what are the major announcements and what are the major policy changes in terms of assistance given in the budget to the MSME sector. But we will in this session try to bring out the finer issues as to how does it benefit MSMEs and what is more expected, because budget is yet to be passed. There could be possibly some changes which the government may consider if we are able to make out a case and make our strong recommendations. So we have two experts, members of the panel with us today to discuss and apprise us and also deliberate in depth about the issues of budget. We have Dr. L.K. Pandey, who is the elected CEC member of Indian Industry Association, and himself a very successful entrepreneur, industrialist, and a very prominent member of the industry associations in the country. And we have Dr. G.C. Tripathi, who is a very highly qualified person, in fact, for this session. We are very happy to have you, Tripathi ji. I think you are the very apt person to decode this budget, in fact, for the MSME sector. So welcome, very warm welcome to you also. We are joined by a large number of delegates to this conference, and I am pleased to welcome you all. You can raise your questions during the conference on any of the issues to any of the panels, and we will try to address all the questions at the end of the program. So, setting the tone of the conference, let me briefly mention few things that the budget has done for the MSME sector. First of all, let me tell you, out of the priorities that the finance minister announced, MSMEs figured as a very prominent priority of the government. So that is a matter of great happiness and satisfaction that MSMEs, which sometimes are felt neglected in the overall growth story of the country. While MSME, there is no denial that MSMEs have been contributing very significantly to the economic prosperity and GDP of the country. But sometimes MSMEs feel neglected in terms of the credit flow and capital flow, capital formation, and building global competitive strengths in the country by virtue of not being able to access the required assistance and required incentives and policies from the government. So this time we are happy that MSMEs have been considered as one of the priorities of the government, and some of the announcements which have been included in the budget point towards this, focus which has been laid on the MSME sector. Well, few things which the government has tried to address. One of them, which is a very major focus, is on the credit flow. We know that credit flow to the MSME sector has been short substantially over the last many years. I would say not even 5 years or 10 years, even since beginning. We notice that there is a continuous shortfall of availability of credit. It's not only the quantum of credit, but even in terms of ease of availability of credit also, and the cost of credit. These are all challenges which the MSME sector has been facing. There has been a total shortfall of about 25 lakh crore in the country in terms of excess of credit, availability of credit to the MSME sector. And this shortfall cannot be done, in 1 year. Gradually, it has to be bridged. And in that direction, the government has been taking initiatives, various steps, small steps, of course, from time to time. And in that, chain, even the current year budget also has added some more incentives, some more measures, which would be helpful in increasing the credit flow to the country. So one such measure which has been announced, the first one that the finance minister mentioned was providing a special credit fund, credit guarantee fund, to provide guarantee support to the pooled credit of clusters, whereby the details have not been explained, but what I understand from the announcement that for term lending, for purchase of machinery and equipments, in a cluster or in an industry area, if some MSMEs are able to pool their requirements and apply for loan, the government's guarantee will facilitate up to 100 crore guarantee for the pooled credit to the applicant organization. So what I understand, I mean, what I can make out, because this is not clear from the announcement, but what I can make out is that if there are 10 units which need term lending, so 5 crore, 10 crore, 15 crore, 20 crore, and their total credit requirement comes to 120 crore by say 15 units, 10 units or 20 units. In that case, they can apply for their respective share of the loan, pool the entire credit, and then avail guarantee from the government under the special fund which the government is going to set up. So this guarantee fund will provide guarantee to the financing institution, maybe banks or NBFCs, and This is the first thing that the government has announced, which is a new initiative, but anything that adds to the credit flow to the MSME sector is most welcome and will add to the, will further smoothen the flow of credit and improve the credit flow to the MSMEs. Second thing that the finance minister mentioned, I'll briefly mention because then I will invite my expert speakers. Second thing is that during the NPA stage, that is the SMA stage, special mention account stage, when the borrowing accounts start showing stress, they become, they are on the tendency to become irregular or going towards NPA. The finance minister has mentioned that the banks should continue to provide that credit during the SMA stage also, so that they don't become NPS. And for this, whatever restructuring is required to be done will be done by the banks. I think this is another form of restructuring that the RBI has been doing earlier, but this time it is in a different format which has been announced. But otherwise, it is almost similar to the restructuring which is carried out by the banks for the stressed account. Third, Mudra loan, of course, has been increased from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs, but only for few people under the Tarun category. Those who have already availed the loan earlier, Mudra loan earlier, and repaid it fully. For them, another loan of 20 lakhs under the Mudra scheme has been made available. I think this is a limited window which has been opened, whereas we were demanding from the industry and entrepreneurs that Mudra loan limit in all three categories should be increased and with a maximum limit of 20 lakhs. So 50,000 rupees for Shishu and 5 lakhs rupees for middle category should also have been increased to at least double the amount, because these limits were fixed, I think 2016 when Mudra was launched. A partial acceptance has been done, increasing the higher limit for Tarun category, that is the maximum limit, from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs, and that too for a limited number of people who have already availed the loan and repaid it fully. So I think this needs to be reconsidered, and 20 lakhs with the sublimits of 50,000 and 5 lakh also should be increased to benefit all, because this scheme is a very useful scheme. The only thing I would like to say is that this scheme, some people have been complaining that they are not getting the sanction, whereas my understanding is that Mudra loans are not denied by the banks, except that in those cases where documentation or compliances is not done fully. But I think this is a good scheme which should benefit a large number of people, and this should be done in a simplified manner, in a fast track manner, without much time. And a standard application form should be made available to all the applicants, so that everyone knows what is the application form, kahan apply karna hai, and time frame also should be fixed, maybe at the most 1 month time, so that fast track decisions can be taken on this. Internal credit assessment has been suggested to the banks instead of depending totally on outside rating, which is costly. Besides costly, it takes time and a lot of paperwork, and causes hurdles in smooth flow of credit. The finance minister suggested in the budget, which is a procedural issue for the banks, operational issue, I would say, that they should develop a scoring model inside to depend on the credit assessment and credit worthiness of the applicant borrowers, so that the whole thing becomes internal instead of totally depending on the outside rating agencies. सिडबी को भी कहा गया है कि सिडबी अपनी ब्रांच नेटवर्क को एक्सपैंड करे, ताकि वो अगले 3 साल में सारे इंडस्ट्री क्लस्टर्स में अपनी पहुंच बना सके और अपनी ब्रांचेस खोले। 24 और ब्रांचेस खोलने के लिए कहा गया है, 24 मोर ब्रांचेस फॉर डायरेक्ट लेंडिंग टू दी। एक्चुअली सिडबी का जो रोल है वो इस समय एक्सपैंड होने की बहुत जरूरत है। ये बहुत टाइमली स्टेप फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने अनाउंस किया है, क्योंकि सिडबी खाली रीफाइनेंसिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन नहीं है। सिडबी एक प्राइमरी लेंडिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन है, एक ऐसी इंस्टीट्यूशन है जो कि एक स्पेशलाइज्ड है एमएसएमई सेक्टर की फंडिंग के लिए, फाइनेंसिंग के लिए, प्रमोशन के लिए, फाइनेंसिंग के लिए। तो सिडबी को ये जो ब्रांच नेटवर्क एक्सपैंड करने की आवश्यकता है, इसमें बहुत तेजी से काम करना चाहिए और पूरे कंट्री में डिफरेंट क्लस्टर्स में अपनी नई शाखाएं खोल के, नई ब्रांचेस खोल के अपनी क्रेडिट फ्लो को इसमें फास्ट करना चाहिए। तो ये कुछ ऑब्जर्वेशन है जो मैं इमिजिएटली दे सकता हूँ। और आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आई कांट फाइंड माय अदर डिस्टिंग्विश्ड कोलीग्स यू नो on the screen. Are you there, Pandey? Dr. Pandey and Dr. Tripathi, are both of you there with me?
Yes, I am here.
कनेक्ट तो नहीं हो गए?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा अच्छा, मुझे लगा वो फ्रेम से हट गए हैं, तो कहीं ऐसा नहीं डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए। तो with these observations, I would like to invite first of all our distinguished expert, Dr. L.K. Pandey, who has been in the thick and thin of the MSME sector by virtue of his association with the not only industry but also he is a successful entrepreneur himself, advisor. So he is the best person, in fact, to tell us as to how this budget is going to help and what more could have been done, in fact, in the budget. So over to you, Pandey, Dr. Pandey.
So, yeah, thank you, Kumar sir. And it's always pleasure to associate with you in such discussion.
Thank you.
And I will start from my own observation and my own concept of considering any budget, not only in a particular year, but I mean many years of the formative years of this budget, how it has been going and how this particular budget is going to decide the future. So I think I can also read something what may happen, in next 2-3 years by the, honorable minister who is, presenting this kind of budget. So, and coming directly to industry, I think, as you rightly mentioned, sir, that MSME sector is the real backbone of Indian industry and Indian economy. And MSME, as such, I always feel that it's not playing in any isolation, but it is always a linkage between really heavy industry, big industry, and with common man plus laborers and farmers. Most of the when we try to survey MSMEs, I find that huge number of MSMEs they are really located into rural and suburban areas, and certainly they are serving huge unskilled labor for employment, uh, youth who are first time joining the industry, and farmers. If we go for food and processing industry, so many farmers are really raw material suppliers for such kind of MSME industry. So I always feel that even if something big is happening for farmers, even then MSMEs are going to be benefited. If something good is happening for rural youth, uh, employment or skill development, MSME is going to be benefited. If something is going to happen for large scale industry also. So I think large scale industry again approaching back to MSME sector for uh, huge work and supply. So I think MSME will be benefited always. The thing is, how we can develop, entrepreneurs and how we can, make them more confident, more empowering, so that they take next level task in their own industry. Uh, there are certain basic issues which beyond the budget, which we industry people are always looking for. See, I have myself gone through various ups and downs in my entrepreneurship phase. So I always feel that the credit facility, banking support is really, I mean, not up to that level which we deserve and we require. I have seen, the thing is, first time it came that Minister herself wanted that, we should avoid uh, converting any company to NPA, any account to NPA. And before that, first alert comes as a SMA. So I think if at the SMA level, proper guidance, proper hand holding takes place, uh, through maybe government machinery and banking also, I think a lot of accounts can be saved at that point. But my experience is uh, quite different. When in one of my venture, when the company was undergoing SMA, so believe me, one bank, I mean they grabbed uh, our money and they forced us to deposit as fixed deposit in their account. And I mean, we were not able to do anything. If some we exported something and we got the payment, so bank came forward and they said, no, no, we want this much money as a FD. You cannot move, you cannot use this, and because we don't trust that this company will can survive for long. So I think that was very tight situation we were put by our own bank. So forget about hand holding. I mean, there are people who are ready to snatch uh, uh, the last fabric on your body, right? So that kind of situation we always feel. I whenever we approach banks, hardly we found that any banker is interested to give CGTMSC loan as per guidelines. No, everyone wants guarantee, collateral, and even for 25 lakhs we had to. I mean, 25 lakhs we got free from collateral, but after that they forced us to give us collateral. So and, I mean we had to give it. And whenever I mean NPA was NPA force on us, so bank was very in a very hurry that they should snatch everything from us and they should get rid of. And ultimately we had to sit and one time settlement we had to do. And the pain of one time settlement for an entrepreneur. But we had to do because we were really feeling that we were playing a chess and we were checkmated by the bank. So that kind of situation when I'm representing, Indian Industry Association and various MSME people, I find that this problem is very common, very common. Everyone is, crying, and not only. I mean, if you go and analyze, you do, some analysis work, you can find that lot many regulations are there. One regulation is very common. I mean, you will laugh, Kumar sir, at civil. See, civil is what I started calling is as a banking terrorism, right? So it's a terrorism, sir. Whatever I mean, what your activity will come under the umbrella under the radar of civil, you don't know. Even something totally unrelated to your work in a private limited company or in public limited company. Your small department, your credit card also. I mean, you are always, just grabbed by the bank. So and the last thing is, I mean, people, there is no place where you can cry. You can, you know, complain. You can, beg something. So that kind of situation, I think civil has become, this is very old pattern of, working and assessing people and their, passion and, their network and everything. I think this civil uh, this regulation, I think it's time that it should be go. So then, coming back to announcements, on the in the budget, I find lot of things, very positive, and even I mean, people will, negativity holding people will always, cry that, this will not be completed, this will not be done. But I always feel okay, at least some part will be done. So even if some part will be done, I think like skill development when I was going through. I mean, this budget is started with Gyan kind of thing, right? So Gyan is, the budget is for Garib, for youth, for this Annadata, I mean farmer, and then Nari Shakti, or you can say. So I think, I mean, if we go for intent, so of the government, so certainly, I mean, they are focusing at the right place, and if they can address, they can, uh, take these, these section of, society to next level. I think the whole nation uh, can come on in a growth trajectory. And I think a lot of slogans were being given in past many budgets, but which, this time I did not listen. So, like, when a trillion economy, doubling the income and this and that. And, as a common sense people, we know that what is the slogan and what is the reality. So, so slogan is always a political gimmick, and reality we can understand. So here, if you look look for youth development, skill development, then using CSR fund for uh, in the skill development, and giving stipend, or and supporting this EPF. So I think, I mean, these are various mechanism and interventions I can help. So the focus when I see employment, skill development, MSME, of course, and middleman. So middleman is very, I mean, debatable subject, but I think the MSME has been given due focus in this budget. I will not go on the quantity, but I will always go on the intent and the quality. And as an entrepreneur, I always feel that we should try to uh, work on our own. And as an entrepreneur, we have responsibility, and even government. I don't expect anything to get from the government. I have seen the whole COVID period. Our friends were always expecting something something coming, some relief is coming, some package is coming. So I always suggested everyone that uh, you you keep on working on your own. In fact, government wants support from us, and government don't. I mean, expect them to give any support to us. So we as entrepreneur, as MSME, we need to create our own niche. We won't bring business, bring foreign exchange to the country, so that government can uh, do more welfare. And I don't say that SMEs should get much more, and they are getting much less. Okay, whatever they are getting, I mean, I think uh, at our own scale we have to work on it, and budgets will keep on coming and going, and whatever best thing is like mudra loan, uh, wherever we can utilize, I think we should utilize. And once we are showing the result, slowly and slowly, one by one, newer relief measures, and of course regulations as well will keep on coming. So I think Mr. Kumar, uh, you can, Dr. Kumar, sorry,
Okay.
you
Okay.
can
Thank you, Dr.
take
Pandey. Thank
take,
you
take
very
that.
much. Thank you very much. Very useful practical inputs that you have given. Basically, the budget has, within the limited fiscal space available to the government, as I mentioned in the beginning, that as of now, the fiscal space is very little because of the fiscal deficit that has been continuing for a long time. The government wanted to, and there is a target under Fiscal Responsibility Act to reduce it down to below 5% and gradually bring it down to less than even 3%. So one satisfaction that we can derive is that the fiscal deficit has been contained, has been projected at 4.9%, which is which will bring fiscal stability to the country's economy. So within that overall greater vision, the things planned and announced. So there are some things which are good for the MSME sector, particularly as I mentioned in the beginning, that the flow of credit, the focus on increasing the flow of credit through Mudra loan and through restructuring of the old NPA accounts, and not NPA, SMA accounts. I think this will give quite, quite comfort to micro enterprises, and particularly the first generation entrepreneurs who want to avail Mudra loan. And second thing, those accounts which have been showing some kind of stress, maybe because of COVID, maybe because of other factors. So at least there also they will get some relief under the announcement that has been made. See, I would have liked, frankly, from the industry, if I speak, reduction in taxes for the proprietorship and partnership firms, because the tax rate of companies which are in the MSME sector was reduced to 25% earlier for turnover, for companies with turnover up to 400 crores. So if companies can attract 25% tax in the MSMEs, why not proprietary and partnership? Because they are in the majority. That recommendation we had made to the government, and we were expecting some, some change in the policy to reduce their taxes, because ultimately proprietary and partnership firms also need that kind of level playing field as companies. That is one thing. Second thing, we had recommended restructuring of the old accounts, stressed account. Now, restructuring is a formal way of, refixing your repayment schedules, or wherever there is an irregularity or overdue, the banks revise the repayment schedule and take your account out of the irregularity. So that has not been done in a very straightforward manner, but we have to see how this SMA classified account, which are showing tendency to become NPAs, will continue to be assisted by banks by way of continuing the credit support under the guarantee which government will provide. So the contours of this announcement are yet to come, and then we will see how practically this helps the MSMEs which are showing some kind of stress. So that is another thing. CGTMSE, Pandeji mentioned, I agree that CGTMSE has a mixed response. Wherever, and it depends on the lender, basically banks and NBFCs and all those people who are covered under the CGTMSE scheme. They have their own decision. It is not compulsory, except of course loans up to 10 lakhs, which is compulsory, that they cannot ask for collateral and bank guarantee, the third party guarantee. But for more than 10 lakhs rupees, there is no compulsion. It is for the banks and the borrower to deal with, while the government provides this guarantee, but then banks have their own views and hesitation in accepting the CGTMSE scheme. So there also, I think some more improvement is required to make the bankers and lenders more confident about accepting this scheme. Dr. Pandey mentioned about CIBIL. He said banking terrorism. Well, CIBIL has become now part of our life every day. Anything that you deal with, the background check of your finance, credit, credit worthiness, etc., is done through CIBIL score. And the only thing is you have to give your consent, because nobody can download your CIBIL score unless you give a consent to that. So if you don't want CIBIL score to be downloaded, don't give your consent. But then if you really want to avail credit from the banks or formal system, NBFCs, or even consumer finance companies, They will always check your civil score. So different views are there, but we respect the views Dr. Pandey has suggested. And I think I will stop here. We have Dr. G.C. Tripathi who is waiting. In fact, thank you very much, Tripathi ji. And sorry for coming you a little late, but we are eager to hear you and your practical wisdom and what you think about the budget 24 for the MSME sector. So over to you, Tripathi ji. आप unmute कर लीजिए, please. Unmute कर लीजिए, please. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, yes. We can hear you, please.
Sir, good afternoon to all of you, sir.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
very happy that you have invited me for this occasion for discussion on central budget. Yesterday I have attended at FICCI during a post budget discussion. Mr. Sanjay Malhotra was there as a revenue secretary, and other persons was also there. They are very enthusiastic and they are very helpful to provide the certain assistance to the promoters and other legal entities which are pending since long. They are very optimistic to get it as certain and get it solved as soon as possible. They have also given their views that they will take the opinion of public and industrialists on this central budget presented by the government. After certain discussions with the industrial associations, FICCI, ASOCHAM, PhD chamber, they will consider their opinion on certain points raised by these associations. After that, central budget shall be finalized after discussion with the representative of the industrialist and association. So many schemes has been provided for MSME in this budget. I am just telling one by one. MSME Credit Guarantee Scheme Self Financing Guarantee Fund up to 100 crore per applicant has been given assurance for this budget. Enhanced credit assessment models are also to be provided for SMEs for to enhance their capabilities for credit worthiness. And they have also emphasized that banks should assess their on their own way, not from the outsiders for credit worthiness. Because from the outsiders are not providing proper evaluations of the promoters and industrialists. Third is supporting during financial stress. This initiative will ensure the continued access to the bank credit for MSMEs in the special mention account SMA stage, helping them avoid slipping to the NPAs. They are very optimistic that all the loans should not be NPA at the bank level. Increased Mudra loan scheme has also been discussed earlier with your good self. This scheme has been raised from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs under Tarun scheme. And those entrepreneurs who have successfully repaid the loan to the bankers, they will be facilitated for this enhancement. Those who have defaulted in their loans earlier, they will not be provided any facilities under this Mudra loan scheme. Expansion of city branches. 24 new branches has been asked to open this year and total coverage expanded from 168 to 242 major clusters within 3 years, providing direct credit to the more MSMEs. Support for food processing units has also been provided in this new budget. It includes financial support for establishing 50 multi-product food irradiation units and 100 food quality units for safety and testing labs with NABL. Hence, government is very optimistic to enhance the food processing industries in India. Budget announced 224 announced to boost MSME, while budgetary allocation has been provided 22,137 crore. This total budget is same as last year provided in budget. Spurti scheme and Aspire scheme has also been facilitated. Spurti scheme is the scheme for fund for regeneration of traditional industries. It has been allocated to 60 crore fund. This scheme was introduced in 2005 to make a traditional industries more productive and competitive for artisans, low, low level workers, low level industries. Aspire scheme is also has been emphasized now. Aspire means a scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industry and entrepreneurship reveals that outlast of 20 crore has been provided. It is lower than from the last year. Last year the fund allocation was 22.25 crore. This Aspire scheme was introduced in 2015 to promote startups for innovation and entrepreneurship in agro industry. It was especially for the enhancement of agro industry. MSME Champions scheme has also been rise in outlays from 52 crores to 54 crores. It has been started by merging some components of technical upgradation scheme to modernize clusters and entrepreneurship, reduce the wastage and sharpen business competitiveness. Other scheme also thereby in this budget. Prime Minister Employment Guarantee Scheme has also been provided, but it is less than from the last year, 14.81% less than the last year budget. This year, 2,300 crore fund has been provided. However, last year it was provided 2,700 crore. This Prime Minister Employment Guarantee Scheme was launched in 2008 for credit-linked subsidy scheme that aims to generate employment in non-farm sector in rural and urban areas. Credit-linked capital scheme CLCS is also introduced, but the fund is from the lower from the last year. This year 55 lakhs has been provided only. However, last year it was provided 1.06 crores. For skill development, the government has emphasized entrepreneurship cum skill development program ESDP to rise in allocation from 88 crore to 99 crore based on the performance. The allocation for cluster development program MSME CDP has been doubled more than doubled in 2004-2005 budget season. It is has been provided fund rupees 400 crore from the last year 150 crore. The government is emphasizing for job generation schemes. As the government has introduced production linked scheme, now the government is also emphasizing for employment generation scheme. Those those industries are very providing employment in their industries. They will be provided incentives for their industries. It is on the same way as production linked scheme. The ELI scheme has also been emphasized this year as a special case. The government is emphasizing in focus areas of for you, poor, youth, women, and annadata farmers. These are the focused area of the government in this budget 2024-25. A 2 lakhs crore package has been announced for 5 major schemes of government of India in this budget. And in this way, the government has provided so many benefits to the MSME sectors, and all the production linked scheme and employment linked scheme are to be emphasized in this year to generate more jobs, more production, and to be more competitive in the global market. As you all know that MSME is providing 30% GDP in MSME sector to the government of India, and 50% of total export is being made by the MSME sector. Hence, MSME contributes major role in the development of the government in production schemes, and 110 million jobs has been created in MSME sector for employment generation. Thank you, sir. This is all about the new schemes and the MSME sector.
Thank you,
Hello?
Dr. Tripathi. Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
think you have given exhaustive detailing about the schemes and the allocations, which is very, very useful, in fact, to know as to which schemes the funding has been increased and which schemes the funding has been constrained. I noticed one particular figure, which is very important, in fact, to understand. That is the allocation for Aspire scheme. Aspire scheme allocation has been reduced from 22.23 crore last year to
25 crore.
20 crore this year.
20 crore this year.
20 crore this year. What I was saying is that Aspire scheme is a very useful scheme for providing incubation and training facilities.
Yes.
To the first generation entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs. To my mind, in fact, allocation in this, first of all, 22 crore last year was very less, because the whole country cannot be trained and skilled, and entrepreneurship development cannot be taken to the satisfactory level with only 22 crore budget. And this year it has been further curtailed to 20 crore. So I think there is a need to substantially increase this budget, 20 crore under the Aspire scheme. That is one observation. Second is PM Employment Generation Program. Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program also, I notice, it's a very popular scheme. And there are more applications than actually the facility being provided to the applicants. इस स्कीम के अंदर नए एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के लिए, ये एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन के लिए, नई इंडस्ट्री या नए उद्योग लगाने के लिए इसमें सब्सिडी दी जाती है 15% से लेके 35% तक कैपिटल सब्सिडी। ये मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ MSME की स्कीम है। तो मेरे विचार से इसमें भी बहुत बढ़ोतरी की आवश्यकता थी, क्योंकि इसकी डिमांड बहुत है। नए नए एंटरप्राइज, चाहे वो सर्विस सेक्टर में हो, चाहे वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में हो, पूरे देश में लगाने की आवश्यकता है। और इसको भी बहुत स्केल अप करने की जरूरत है, जबकि इसका बजट भी कम किया गया है, 2700 करोड़ से 2300 करोड़ कर दिया गया है।
2300 करोड़।
इसमें भी बहुत जरूरत है आगे इसमें स्केल अप करने की। तो इसमें मेरे विचार से और अधिक एलोकेशंस होने की आवश्यकता थी। और देर आर मेनी इश्यूज इनफैक्ट, बजट से रिलेटेड तो कई इशू हो सकते हैं जो हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, जिसमें आवश्यकता है कि बजट को इंक्रीज करने की, और स्ट्रेस्ड अकाउंट को कैसे हम ठीक करें, री री रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग की, और कई एलोकेशंस में बढ़ाने की खास तौर से। तो ये सारी चीजें अब इस स्टेज पे डिस्कस करने से मुझे लगता है कि कोई अधिक फायदा नहीं होने वाला। हम केवल वो चेंजेस सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं जो कि अभी बजट डिस्कशंस में पॉलिसी लेवल पे किए जा सकते हैं।
यस
तो
सर, उन्होंने रेवेन्यू सेक्रेटरी हैज एश्योर्ड
हाँ,
that all the recommendations sent by the industry association and industrialist shall be considered sympathetically.
यस,
Yeah.
सो
And all the litigation matters shall also be solved politely,
वेरी गुड,
not arrogantly.
very good. So this is a welcome statement, and we expect that our delegates and participants who are attending this program, in case they have any issue, they will also suggest and give us the feedback so that we can take up with the ministry as to what more can be done now. Because whatever has been suggested, we have explained. This is, of course, a good welcome move to improve the flow of credit and make some policy changes. But then the doors are not closed as of today. Budget अभी discussion stage पे है। अगर हम कोई ऐसी पॉलिसी चाहते हैं या कोई ऐसा एलोकेशन चाहते हैं जिसमें चेंज की जरूरत है, तो हम अभी भी उनको रिकमेंड कर सकते हैं। तो आप
Yes,
इसके
yes.
ऊपर अपनी सजेशन दे सकते हैं। तो अनलेस देर इज सम मोर पॉइंट दैट डॉक्टर पांडे वांट्स टू मेक, आई विल गो टू प्रियंका टू टेल अस if there are any questions so that we can address them. Dr. Pandey, you have anything to say more?
Uh, move ahead, sir. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Priyanka, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have
So,
questions from one from our attendee, Mr. Abhijit Rao Rane.
हाँ जी।
He want to ask, are there any specific scheme for SMEs, startups in aviation sector, or a specific scheme for co-working flexi space industry?
So there are two different things. One is
Yes.
any specific scheme for the aviation sector.
Yes.
So I think I can address that, because any see, for aviation sector, in case you have an innovative product or a service. So for innovative product and service, any business that is set up for with new invention, new product, new way of doing things, can be registered as a qualified startup. So the Startup India scheme, in fact, provides cover to this kind of businesses. And once you registered as a startup with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, it's a very simple procedure. The only thing is you have to explain your startup, explain your innovation. एविएशन सेक्टर में क्या इनोवेशन है। अदरवाइज नॉर्मल इनोवेशन सेक्टर में तो जो भी स्कीम्स अवेलेबल हैं वो सारे सेक्टर्स के लिए अवेलेबल हैं। पर स्पेस के लिए जो आपने बोला, एविएशन सेक्टर के लिए, मेरे विचार से जो एक सबसे अच्छी स्कीम मुझे नजर आ रही है वो है स्टार्टअप इंडिया। और स्टार्टअप इंडिया में जितने भी इंसेंटिव्स अवेलेबल हैं, टैक्स बेनिफिट्स हैं, कैपिटल है, फंडिंग है, ये सारी सुविधाएं फिर अवेलेबल हो जाती हैं वंस यू रजिस्टर एज ए स्टार्टअप। और स्टार्टअप रजिस्ट्रेशन का प्रोसीजर बहुत सिंपल है। आप ऑनलाइन स्टार्टअप रजिस्ट्रेशन मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री की वेबसाइट या स्टार्टअप इंडिया में जाके रजिस्टर करा सकते हैं। उसके लिए आपको पहले फर्म बनानी होगी, प्रोप्राइटरी, पार्टनरशिप, कंपनी, जो भी जिस तरह का आप फॉर्म बनाना चाहें, और उसको मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एमएसएमई की उद्यम आधार साइट पे रजिस्टर कराना होगा। तो आप उसका उद्यम आधार नंबर ले लें फर्म का, और उसके बाद स्टार्टअप इंडिया पोर्टल पे जाके आप उसके अंदर अपने को रजिस्टर करा लें, और उसके बाद जितने भी स्कीम्स अवेलेबल हैं स्टार्टअप इंडिया के अंदर आपके सेक्टर के लिए, एविएशन सेक्टर के लिए अवेलेबल हो जाएंगी। ये एक स्पेसिफिक स्कीम में आपको बता सकता हूँ। या सेकंड क्वेश्चन आपका था फॉर को वर्किंग स्पेसेस एंड व्हाट इज द
Flexi spaces, sir.
फ्लेक्सी स्पेसेस। सी को वर्किंग और फ्लेक्सी स्पेसेस के लिए मुझे इस बजट में कुछ दिखाई नहीं दिया फ्रैंकली, बट the government has been considering, as I can tell you, and based on the demand of the co-working spaces, that some tax benefit, GST benefit, should be given to them on the GST paid by them, so that they can pass it on to the companies and offices which are hiring these co-working spaces. So that is one thing which is still under consideration, but budget में announcement तो मैंने देखा नहीं इसका। और दूसरा यह है कि उसमें इनकम टैक्स में कुछ अलाउंसेस दिए जाएं, बेनिफिट्स दिए जाएं उनको, बिकॉज उससे क्या होगा कि वो जो छोटे कोवर्किंग स्पेसेस के रजिस्ट्रेशन हैं वो नहीं हो पा रहे, स्टैम्प ड्यूटी उसमें लोग अवॉइड करते हैं, तो उसका बेनिफिट उन्हें मिलना चाहिए। तो ये उनकी डिमांड्स तो हैं, पर अभी इस पे मैंने कोई बजट में देखा नहीं है स्पेशली, बट वी विल कंटिन्यू टू परसू दिस। या एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
Yes, sir. We have another question from Mr. B.V. Ramana Reddy.
Hmm.
Is there any incentive or specific scheme for renewable energy, mainly solar?
पांडे जी, वुड यू लाइक टू टेक अप? त्रिपाठी जी,
जी सर।
क्वेश्चन रिपीट करें जरा प्रियंका।
Any incentive or specific scheme for renewable energy, mainly solar?
नो, इस तरह से कोई स्पेसिफिक तो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के लिए नहीं दिया हुआ है। ये तो जो जनरल स्कीम्स में जो भी आएगा वो दैट विल बी कंसीडर्ड, नॉट फॉर स्पेसिफिक ऑन रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी।
एक्चुअली इन द बजट अभी डिटेल्स जो आनी है उसके अंदर अभी एलोकेशंस आए हैं और अनाउंसमेंट्स आए हैं, अभी उसमें मुझे कुछ ऐसा स्पेसिफिक अलग से कुछ नहीं दिखा, पर सोलर मिशन जो प्रधानमंत्री का सोलर मिशन है वो ऑलरेडी चल रहा है, उसके अंदर एलोकेशंस को बढ़ाया गया है, जो हाउसिंग सेक्टर के लिए है, इंडस्ट्री सेक्टर के लिए है, वो पीएम सोलर मिशन के अंदर जो भी इंसेंटिव्स हैं और सब्सिडी है वो तो बिल्ट इन ऑलरेडी है, पहले से है, उस स्कीम के अंदर है वो। इस बजट में अगर कोई और स्पेसिफिक इशू मेरी नोटिस में अभी तक नहीं आया, पर अगर कोई होगा तो वी विल इन्फॉर्म यू।
So one last question. What more can be done? What should have been done is really of no consequences at this conjuncture. Would it be possible to share about what finance help the government can do now?
नो नो, व्हाट मोर कैन बी डन इज वेरी यूजफुल एट दिस जंक्चर, बिकॉज अभी बजट पास नहीं हो गया है, अभी बजट इज स्टिल इन द डिस्कशन स्टेज। See, what more can be done? We can always suggest to the government that these are the changes which are very important. These tax rates can be changed. These policies can be amended. What more can be done is very important at this stage only, because until the budget is passed, we can surely take it up. Yes, as far as the budget announcements and assistance is concerned, that is before us. In fact, the budget has been now opened, and we have discussed that what has been explained and announced by the budget is some way or the other useful. But if you say our expectations are fully met, तो वो तो expectations तो पूरी होने में बहुत time लगेगा। You can raise your queries further to this contact number, and email also to Power to SME in case you have any suggestion, so that this can be discussed and taken up with the government. Priyanka?
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much for joining us, everyone, on this insightful session on Decoding Budget 2024 for SMEs. And we appreciate your time and engagement in this important discussion. Our heartfelt thanks to Dr. H.P. Kumar, Dr. L.K. Pandey, and Dr. G.C. Tripathi for sharing their valuable insights and expertise. We hope you find this session informative and beneficial. And if you have any query, as Dr. Kumar said, you can always call us or write to us.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you very
so
much.
sir.
Thank you, Tripathi ji. Very nice. Thank you, Pandey ji. Very nice. Thank you.
नमस्कार, थैंक यू सर।
Hmm.